No.
Welcome everyone. We'll start this off. Welcome to the Koochiching County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. Could you please help me open with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks everyone. All right. First item of business under county business is to approve the proposed agenda with additions and or deletions. We do have two additions. Addition one being consider appointment to County Citizen Budget Committee. We'll put that we'll make that item number 6, and then number 7 will be considered directing the county attorney to draft release for the law enforcement center. And I will put that on item 7 under county business. And then one other addition, potential addition here would be under 2A. We'd like to add some public comment at the beginning of the meeting. Instead of having to wait till the very end of it, we're going to consider making this more of a permanent type of deal. So folks, if they want to hang around for the whole meeting and speak twice, they certainly can. But just to give everybody an opportunity when they're here right away and not have to wait for sometimes a long time. But we'll consider that. Today I would accept adding that as item 2A after we approve the minutes. And that would be the additions. We have no deletions. So Chair would accept the motion with those additions.
I'll make them up. I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing now, call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Next item is approved minutes from the August 26th, 2025 regular meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Our next item is public comment. Anyone in the audience want to have public comment? Please come on up and introduce yourself. State your name and address, please, first, for the record.
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Appreciate you moving me up. Not that I'm really busy, but I have important business here. So my name is Don Fuller. I live in the Point Pines neighborhood. I've been property owner there since 1985, which is 40 years now. And a few years ago, we had a petition passed around to clean up Gary Eisenste's yard. He was in violation of some zoning laws. Junk cars, trash, and I guess it was illegal salvage yard, let's just say. So anyhow, it took a long time. Two different petitions. One initial petition to get people to sign on to this thing, and then another one to present to Judge Shimon that we still wanted to get it cleaned up. So it was finally deemed an illegal dump, and it was cleaned up by the county, and I think they taxed the cost of that onto his taxes, which I believe has not been paid yet, which neither here nor there. During the period of time when they were cleaning up the yard, at night he would ferret out his prize junk to another location, and then after the work was done, then he'd bring it all back. So that's been a couple of years now, and the judgment from Judge Shimon was 1 year that he had to keep it clean. Well, that expired, and now we got to go through this whole thing again. So we kind of all know what this is all about. He can't help himself. I feel sorry for the guy, but I feel more sorry for our neighborhood, who's got to put up with his trash and his constant harassment of the neighbors. Somebody also tried, when the workers were there, tried to put sand down in the fuel tank of the Bobcats. It was not one of us. So anyhow, so there was a little sabotage going on there. And as soon as all those people left, he brought all the junk back that he had some relocation someplace. So now on August 14th, Jay Schultz lives across the street from him, saw a rat coming across the street towards his yard. Jay killed the rat, and I have it here. If you want to see it, it's frozen. So rats, just a fun fact about rats. A female rat can get pregnant again 4 days after it gives birth. 4 days. And in less than a month, she can give birth to 20 more pups. And those pups in 3 months are sexually mature, and they can have 20 pups each. So we got a problem. This is not good. This is bad. We have a pretty high density neighborhood, and now we have rats. And I just, when I talk about this, I get so mad I just shake. This is not a good thing. So, I'm glad I wrote this down because I didn't want to forget to say anything. So, if and when this goes to court, we need things to happen quick. We don't need 20 pups every month times however that would go. I read one thing that said one pair of rats in ideal conditions in 3 years can have 500 million offspring. 500 million offspring. Now, of course, we've got winters here and limited amount of food and all that kind of stuff, but we don't need rats in our neighborhood. These are bad. I don't know, you probably heard of the bubonic plague, right? So, anyhow. So when it does go to court, we're hoping for a longer judgment. And we're hoping for that it goes until the guy is dead or moves or sells the property. And we have to have an agent of the county do inspections. That's what it said in the stuff that I read about the rules and laws. So, and because the county is complaint driven, this is the complaint, and I have everybody that I talked to signed the petition. Everybody in my whole neighborhood. I went around the whole loop of 125, and there's like 2 houses on 20. And everybody on my street, which is 498. I don't know, so we got to enforce the laws that are already in place, the ordinances and laws. And as long as I'm around to do this, I'll do it. And it's one of those things where, it's true that only 10% of the people do 90% of the work, and I guess it falls on me to do that. And you guys are the 10% also. You're here. By the way, there was a lot of concern. A lot of people doubted that you guys would do anything. So this is a perfect opportunity to show them that they were wrong. They said, well, they're not going to do anything. I said, well, if I don't do anything, nothing's going to happen because it's complaint driven. So we got rats, and here he is. If anybody wants to pass him around and take a look at him, he's been in my freezer. So another thing too is the agencies basically thumb their noses at you guys, the law enforcement, the county engineer, and this is what we get. This is what we get from the agencies. Right there. This is what we get. I've got here a couple of copies of basically the petition and the people who signed the petition. I've redacted their addresses and phone numbers and emails because some people said when they signed this again that Gary called them or harassed them because they had signed the petition before. So in discovery, when this goes to court, I don't want those people's phone numbers and emails and addresses to go out.
Well, please, we'll accept that, your petition for that. The
Yeah.
administrator will accept that and file that.
Okay, I do have a copy of the original, which does have the names and addresses if somebody wants it, but I don't want it to go out unless it's absolutely necessary.
Okay. Well, I think we'll keep the redacted for now, and you hold on to
Okay,
the original. And
so I really don't have anything more. Does anybody got any questions for me about what's been happening in the last 40 years?
is this
They're not good people. I mean, Matt Eisensee's in jail right now, or here, and two of his brothers or cousins or something are in jail in the Dakotas. You know, it's just not a great family. Who
I
gets
can
it?
take that. Thank you.
It's just 2 copies. I don't know if Matt Gwynn gets one or whatever. Also, Trent, he's got stuff in the right of way again.
Okay.
So as winter comes, they're going to complain about they're pushing snow on their stuff. Well, it's in the right of way. You know that. So I'm requesting you to go look.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a couple months since I've been through that area.
And Brent's back there too. Brent, you're the agent of the county. I'd like you to look for habitat for rodents and vermin,
Okay.
as stated in the ordinances.
We did do that. We went out there
When?
last week. Matt and I went out there last week after I spoke with you.
Okay.
We went and looked. We have composed, we started the whole process with abatement notice according to statute, how we have to follow it. We have to give them 10-day notice, then we can take it to court.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. And Matt, I want to tell you, Matt went to bat for us last time. You know, he's a good guy and he follows up on what he says he's going to do, so I appreciate that. So if nobody's got any other questions, I guess I'm done, but I appreciate you hearing me.
well, thank you for coming up here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah, if anybody wants to.
I didn't know you were going to bring that.
Well, I thought what might impress on you that there's actually rats.
Yeah.
This is hard evidence. And by the way, there's been a lot of people that told me when I was walking around that the animals are acting weird. There's been dead squirrels that's laying on the ground at Schumacher's. You don't see a dead squirrel that's laying on in front of your door. So it's possible that they're poisoning, and then the poison and the rodents are getting into other animals, like cats and dogs and stuff that might attack that. That poison just doesn't stop when you kill a rat. And this was probably poison too, because it was walking. You don't see rats in the middle of the day walking across the road. So they know there's rats over there. And also, Gary comes up to Julie Schumacher and says, "Oh, we've never had a rat or a rodent in our property ever again." So there must have been something that you guys said to him. But anyhow, I hope that we can get this going. It's awful. So thanks,
Thanks, Don.
I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Well, there'll be an opportunity at the end of the meeting for further public comment if you wish, and if not, thank you for the public comment. We'll close that, and we'll move forward with our agenda, and we'll move into financial business. Today, Chair would accept motion for items A, B, C, and D. A being approved August summarized payment listing. B, approved August payroll and ACH vendor payments. C, approved courthouse claims. And D, approved highway claims.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre. Any questions on the claims? Payments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. Right, next up is approved warrant void. And warrant void is in the amount of $1,831.99, and that's for two payments, one being $1196.89 and one being $635.10. The affidavits are on file. Let's be treasurer. One of them for the Gazette, a series of them for the Gazette. For environmental service notice, I would assume. Now we'll need a motion to move on that. Thank you, Commissioner.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Any discussion on the voids? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. And next up, consider approval of the 2026 taxing district levy requests. And the issue is approved and certified to the county auditor the 2026 county fire district levy requests. Fire District 1, North Home, it would be an increase of $395. Fire 2, Little Fork, an increase of $2,203. And then for Fire Districts 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are Lowman, Birchdale, Badette, and Big Falls, there is no increase. The amounts for those for District 1 are $20,144.30. District 2 is $95,049. District 2 Lowman is $20,000. District 3 Birchdale is $16,000. District 4 Badette is $3,762. And District 5 Big Falls is $11,500. Also in this request is to approve and certify to the county auditor the 2026 county taxing district levy requests. First being for the Little Fork ambulance at $133,495, which is no increase. North Home first responders at $10,000 with no increase. Rainy River first responders $15,200, no increase. And the housing redevelopment at $50,000, which is no increase. Wishes of the board on those.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre. Thank you, Commissioner Howell. Any discussion on the requests? Hearing no discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. Next up, Human Resources. Brian.
Happy Tuesday.
Good morning. We have a couple of notices.
Yep. So for 4A, we have the approved employment transfer Angie Helenko from full-time eligibility worker to full-time child support enforcement officer per contract. Angie's official start date will be October 6th per contract, and we were seeking any kind of backfilling of the position. The Merit has released the roster for the eligibility worker. There is no internal applicants that have been qualified. We have 4 of them, which we are going to begin the interview process for eligibility worker.
Internally or externally?
That'll be an external candidate.
External candidates, okay.
We don't have any internal ones that pass the roster testing for eligibility worker.
Okay.
That's just a notice, not an approval.
Yep.
Well, we will approval of any backfill of the position. Do we want to move on that?
We already have that.
Oh, we already have that. Okay.
Yep.
Excuse me.
And then 4B, seeking authorization to, under the temporary hire policy, hire Clarissa Grasshorn back to help with the sheriff's secretary duties, as we are vacant in that position currently, and to help with jury bailiff as well. And I have the attorney and administrator's signatures.
That's just a notice of hire.
Notice of hire.
Okay, just notice of hire and no action required. So thank you, Brian, and welcome.
Thank you. That's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, next item is adopt resolution approving airport maintenance and operation grant agreement. This will be to adopt resolution approving annual maintenance and operations grant agreement with the state of Minnesota as requested by the Airport Commission. State will reimburse 75% of all eligible maintenance and operations costs not reimbursed by any other source. Anything to add, Commissioner? All right, wishes of the board.
Make that motion. Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Discussion. Discussion. All right. Hearing no discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. Next up is information system or services business, please. And Mr. Gilbert, how are you doing?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you. All right, today I'm bringing an agreement with Esri for our GIS software. Our current 3-year agreement will expire on January 27th of next year. So just getting this in front of you guys early. Yearly cost will be $30,200, which is an increase from $27,500 from this past agreement. We're just looking for board approval to enter into this new agreement.
This is a budget item.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We pay it annually?
Yep.
So it's not 90 upfront.
No, it'll be $30,200 each year for the next 3 years.
Wishes of the board.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner McIntyre.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Roach. Discussion. Is this part of the mapping software that we
Yep.
use and kind of integrates with? Does that go out into, like, say, the assessors and this goes into the assessor's office uses for some of
Yeah,
the
anybody that uses any of the GIS software, mapping, things of that nature.
Okay.
This includes all of that software.
All right. Any other questions? We have a first and a second. If there's no other discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks.
We're going to jump back because I missed the additions like I always do. We'll go back to the additions. Item number 6 under county business. It would be consider appointment to county citizen budget committee. Steve Hendrickson has submitted an application to be considered for appointment to the Citizen Budget Committee as a District 5 representative. His application is attached and for a 3-year term from 2025 to 2027. Thank you, Commissioner. And he's willing to serve, which we appreciate that. This is, again, offering members of the community from the different districts to be a part of the budgeting process, just to kind of help give a little bit of an idea of what the budgeting is and what it entails. A lot of it's kind of mundane and boring sometimes. When you go line by line, you get to see how everything really kind of works, and we appreciate the people that want to do that and get the word out there a little bit that we're trying to, we're getting educated about every year too. Myself, I've learned a lot over the last many years of doing this, but it's just to get the word out into the public. I think it's a good thing. It's a good offering at least. So, and with that, wishes of the board.
Move.
Support.
First, Commissioner Erickson. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Any discussion?
He looks very qualified. More than enough.
Any other discussion?
Yeah.
All right, hearing no discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And motion carries. Thank you, proceed. All right, next item under the addition, item 7, would consider directing the county attorney to draft a lease for the law enforcement center. And this is an addition. It was a discussion at our last committee of the whole in Big Falls. And the summary of the issues up for board consideration is to direct the county attorney to draft a lease between the county and the city of International Falls to lease the law enforcement center space to them for the police department with the following terms to deliver to them for review. The lease amount of $50,000 a year for 20 years. The county will be responsible to maintain building and to assure systems and infrastructure are in working order. Refurbish the current space, which would be the first floor, estimated $160,000 with a 50-50 split of the cost between the county and the city. Freeze the cost of $50,000 for 2 years and then an annual increase every year thereafter tied to consumer price index. Next is the entire first floor, 3 garage bays and shared space in the basement. Currently there's 4 garage bays. And then the shared space in the basement is primarily for the emergency operations center and or training when that training happens. Designated parking space along the south side of the law enforcement center. International Falls Police Department signage on the outside of the law enforcement center at the city expense. Just a logo with the name and things on it directing them where to go. First right of refusal included in the lease and only good as long as the lease is active should the county ever want to sell the building. The out clause for either party with a 1-year notice. Lease to include housekeeping, groundskeeping, maintenance, garbage, electricity, natural gas, water, sewer, to exclude phone, internet, and information technology support. So they would be doing their own information technology, maintenance and support, upgrades, etc. on that. So, and these obviously, these are, will be formally written up into a lease agreement. And then they can be discussed further. Obviously, the City Council may want some adjustments. One of the adjustments that they may want that was not in their offer was the freeze lease cost of $50,000 for 2 years, and then tied to consumer price index. The other one was the entire first floor. We had some discussion about trying to get out of that space within a certain time period. We didn't want to put a time stamp on this for us because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We may need that space for a long, long time, and if we can share it and then we can coexist there, I think that would be the best thing for now and in the near future anyway. Long-term future, obviously things can change. So, and some of these other things, they were kind of discussed in our committee that we met with the mayor and councilor. So. Everything else looks pretty much the same, and then we discussed these 2 items at the committee of the whole. The item of the consumer price index increase and the shared space for the basement and the garage. So those are the 2 changes that we had. And then not designating a separate account, as Adam Cole mentioned, the administrator, that we don't really want to designate money going into a specific account that already happens. So it's kind of already happening under the current plan that's going on. Is that it's just one fund that goes and fixes all the campuses overall. So I don't know that we necessarily need to specify that. With the roof leaks, basically, we'll fix it. So.
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Roach.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Great. Hearing no discussion. Again, this will be, once this year is drafted, do we want to have a review? we can just have it reviewed, just get it at the same time that they receive it perhaps, and then we can review it and they can review and give us their feedback on how it works. So I would assume that it would come back to this body for final approval or adjustments. So.
Yeah, I'd like to review it one more time when it comes back.
Yeah, it may get changed, or there may be a different offering there that we have to consider, so definitely we'll come back before final approval. So any other questions, John?
Once it's drafted, I'll bring it to the board for review
Okay. All right.
before we deliver it to the city.
Okay. Appreciate that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. Great. We'll jump into highway business. Hi, Trent.
Hello. All right, good morning. So this RBA is a follow-up to our public meeting that we had at 9 a.m. this morning. This is requesting that the highway department be able to sell a parcel that we own. It's located at 3365 County Road 24, parcel ID 14077-13000. In October of 2021, the highway department purchased this property for additional right-of-way. It's adjacent to the Van Linn Road overpass. It was purchased with respect to project SAP 036-624-019. Purchase was made using highway department fund reserves for $130,000. Property currently sits with a tax value of $143,700. Project was closed out last year. We would like to pursue selling this property and honoring Minnesota State Statute 373-01. It required the public meeting prior to sale. It also sets up the rules for selling this property. So if the board approves sale, we can advertise it for auction. It can be sealed bid, can be any type of auction. We have to advertise in the paper. We also have to advertise it on our website. We can set a reserve on it. If it doesn't sell at that time, we can utilize a broker for sale then afterwards. There are limits as far as how low we can go on the price as well. Like I said, the property right now, the taxable market value is $143,700. That's what I'm using for the appraisal. We can go down to 90% of that, which would be approximately $130,000. I mentioned that we used it, we purchased this for right-of-way. Of course, we're going to retain some of that right-of-way, approximately 1.5 acres out of the original 9 acres. That's not reflected in the taxable market value, so there could be some leeway there. Just some features on the property. Condition of the home is acceptable, again with no outstanding maintenance issues. 3-bedroom, 1 3/4 bathroom, electric heat with fuel oil backup, full basement partially finished. Garage is usable, but at some point in the future would need replacement. There's several outbuildings that are in poor condition, but a gazebo in good condition. One issue with the property is the sewer system is non-compliant. Environmental Services has approached me requesting that we address that, whether it be before sale or at some point after sale. We can have further discussion on that. Yeah, any questions?
I'd say let's get it up for sale and let's advertise it with the sewer as is and let the person buying it do the sewer if we can.
I'll second that.
motion by Commissioner Roach. So property as is and have the compliance of the sewage repaired at the owner's expense or the future buyer's expense. And that would be for, what's the amount? 130? What would we want? 143, is that the?
143.7 or whatever Brent said, and
Well, we can, so
go down. from
we
there.
can put a reserve on it.
Yep,
So if we put a reserve at 130, that was our original purchase price.
I say we reserve at 130 yet. That gives somebody some money that they can put into a mounting system or to fix the sewer.
Do you want closed bid, do you want auction, or what would you like?
I think just sealed bid would be
Sealed bid.
would be the way to go.
Right.
I would prefer the entire house be sold as is. You know, I really don't want to get into fixing small components here and there. There doesn't appear to be any issues with the house, so I don't anticipate that there'd be much, you know, back and forth, but yeah, I would prefer it just be an as-is sale, especially if we're not going to include an updated sewer for the project.
We have those specifics of the motions, okay. Anything else you think of? Oh, what's the timeline for this, Trent?
So it has to be advertised for 3 weeks. You know, the earliest we could get it in the paper would be next Thursday. So then 3 weeks after that, we'd be looking at the first week in October, I think, for opening sealed bids. And then if we didn't meet that reserve, then, you know, I don't know what the timeline would be with the broker.
Okay. I'll have to start and kind of get it moving, I guess, a
Yep,
little bit.
yeah.
And, the sale of the funds from the sale of potential sale would then go back into
They would go back into my fund reserve.
fundraising.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe specify that too as part of the motion.
Yes.
Yes, please. Thank
Money
you.
in the sale would go back into
Thank you.
tax reserves.
Or we'll just take it, right? No. All right. So we get that motion. It's all over the place here, but I think we would consider approving the sale of a highway house like Passat 24 for a closed bid with a minimum reserve of $130,000 and for the whole property be in as-is condition. And please note the compliance of the sewage system. And this will go through the proper timelines, so 3 weeks of advertising. Do you want to set a date or you just want to wait till?
No, just wait. And if no sale, I would like authorization to work with a broker then.
Yes.
Or if the board would like me to come back and request that, that's fine as well.
No, you can work with the broker.
All right, with that addition to the motion, just fine with everybody. If no sealed bids meet that reserve, then we would go to broker and authorize county engineer to do that. All right, so we have the motion, and we have we have a motion yet?
Yeah.
Commissioner McIntyre.
Okay, McIntyre, Commissioner Roach, is that right?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Any discussion or further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then item number 2 here is just informational. So folks may or may not know that MnDOT will be looking at upgrading 1171 from 332 coming into town here in the near future. They recently performed a corridor study looking at intersections along that roadway. And next Tuesday, September 16th, there's going to be a public meeting or an open house from 5 to 7 over at the Bacchus Community Center, talking about the findings related to that corridor study. I would encourage folks interested to go to that, because this corridor study is going to dictate the road improvements in the future. And we don't have a whole lot of traffic in International Falls here, so there will be some changes. You know, I personally don't want to get into it prior to that meeting, but
Stoplights and roundabouts and whatever has to happen.
you know, the corridor study isn't making recommendations as far as, you know, what to do at the intersections. It looks at level of service. It looks at ADT traffic going through there. They'll recommend if a stoplight is still warranted, or if it's not, but they won't say that, you know, this particular intersection right now needs, you know, a J turn or something like that. The way it sits, though, there will be some adjustments in traffic signals.
All right, so then that's on Tuesday, September 16th, a week from today, 5 to 7 at Baptist Community Center.
Correct. And there also is a feedback website that people can leave feedback on. It's listed at the bottom of this RBA. You can also search on the MnDOT site for the 1171 project, and it should come up with this corridor study feedback site.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, Walter, you there.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, specifically, you know, the commissioners that are within the city, and I think yours reaches out to 32, right? So, perfect.
yeah, there's some folks along the route there that would like to be notified, so I'll let them know and
Sure.
try to get them involved if they want to.
Sounds good. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. And that,
Hi, good morning.
and we'll discuss the Big Fork River One Watershed One plan. This is kind of the second part of a three-part series, or
Yeah,
the second part of
it's a series.
four-part series?
Yeah, we had already entered into a memorandum related to this watershed, one watershed, one planning project, and there was another partner added, or wanted to be added to this, and so what's in front of you is to basically replace the old MOA with this new one, and it's to allow access. You know, it's a planning effort through one watershed, one plan on the Big Fork River. You know, when the plan is approved, it'll allow access to non-competitive grant dollars to implement projects and programs identified in the plan. This MOA includes the city of Big Falls, Itasca and Koochiching counties, Itasca and Koochiching SWCD, and the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe. So I guess I'm asking the board to approve the memorandum of agreement for the development of the Big Fork River One Watershed, One Plan.
Support.
Thank you, Commissioner Erickson. Thank you, Commissioner Howell. Is adding a partner, everything else pretty much the same?
Everything's the same, yeah, and the county attorney reviewed and had no concerns.
Okay, sounds good. Any discussion?
There's been a couple meetings already, and one last week, maybe. Whitney, Jolene, and Jane were there, and so it's, I think it'll go fairly smooth, because there's only three watersheds left in the state that don't have a plan. Two of them are Little Fork and the Big Fork. And so there's a pretty good blueprint, I think. Lots of resources to draw from, because there's similar work being done for landscape at the Forest Resource Council. And, you know, that plan was written and so yeah, I don't, the only thing that I would comment on is when you look at the watershed, it's almost like two different planets. Most, Itasca versus Koochiching. And most of it's in Itasca, and Koochiching is basically wild and scenic. And the other one is populated, so.
Yeah,
But the money is the hook.
it is. Just to let you know, I was on a legislative committee meeting for planning and zoning administrators, and there was some discussion about, and also solid waste administrators, and there was a discussion about some of the funding related to One Watershed, One Plan. And my comment was that I sure would like to have One Watershed, One Plan money being able to be used for some practical things that we're required to do in our counties that do help in water quality. But right now, what Bowser is telling me that, it has to be things over and above what's required of us. And so there's some challenges related to, I would like to use it for things that our taxpayers have to pay for, and that do improve water quality. So I'm working on that, trying to grease the wheels a little bit, and trying to get them to understand that there's some good things we could do with the money that are practical and things that are required, and I'd like to see them allow us to do that. So just letting you know that. But it doesn't change this. I mean, this is something that needs to be done and to move forward with. So.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right, next up will be a public comment period. Is there anyone here for public comment? Yes, please, come on up.
Listening to Matt made me think of something else to ask you. Helen Tweet, County Road 2 North, 3001, County Road 2 North. Just wondering if there's been any more discussion about a taxing district in the county for the ambulance. I haven't been able to get to all the meetings, and I was just wondering if there was any movement on that or discussion.
We're going to meet this evening with Rainier City Council at their committee of the whole.
Okay.
And we're going to bring information on statute language and what's required, what we can and cannot do. Mm-hmm. And then that would be offered again as a partner, a potential partner at least. So we'll get the language together, myself and Commissioner Roach, along with Treasurer Joan Nelson and I think the county attorney and Adam Cole, I'll be there. So we'll be there to field questions and maybe ask questions, and we'll probably have to look into it a little bit. But I think we have a pretty good handle on what we have to do, and so now we just got to get some agreements, kind of tentative agreements, potential tentative agreements, I guess, and then kind of go forward from there. So I know the city's asked us to consider that, and we are. I think we're looking at trying to partner up with them and potentially St. Louis County as well. So we can do that. Probably a separate deal with St. Louis County. I don't know how their protocol is with that. I know they have their own ways of doing that. So, yeah, that's kind of where that's.
Okay. Yeah, I was planning to go to that meeting to see what Rainier was thinking. It was interesting to me that the mayor said that Rainier wasn't freeloading. Well, in my words, we've all been freeloading off the city ambulance service, if you will. I mean, why should we expect that service without paying for it? So that's my personal feeling. And on another topic, I think it was in 2012, I attended a meeting about the sewer possibility for us on County Road 2 North and Meadowview. The Environmental Services had a meeting of some kind. I'm not sure if I've got the right year. I was just standing watching my septic tank being pumped out for the 3rd time in my years of living where I live, and it made me think about whether, that's ever been any more discussion about offering sewer to us beyond the city limits on County Road 2 North, and, if it'll ever be possible.
Well, I think if enough of the folks, want that out there, I don't know why it couldn't be considered. I think that's, from my understanding, from what I've asked and what I've been told, is that was kind of the deterrent, there wasn't quite enough public support at the time, at least. So, and I don't know where that's at now, because not all of it's going to be covered, and there's probably going to be some type of a wraparound payment, for that. But to my understanding, that's what it was. And then, of course, doing that, then that's going to involve probably a little bit more than just having a sewer system. Now you're probably talking about annexation to the city limits. So there's some discussion there, and I don't know if that's a deterrent or a benefit to folks or not. I guess that's not up to me to decide. But if that's one of the kind of the requirements of getting city sewers is that you do annex into their city limits. So that's a consideration, I'm sure, for some folks. And then your zoning changes a little bit too with that annexation. It kind of gets into kind of a little bit of a different look at things. So
the city would be someone to ask this question of, because how do the residents out there start that whole process?
Well, we had a Papermaker Citizens Committee, and we still do have that, and maybe we can possibly revive that. However, we lost a seat on the North Cooch Center Sewer District Board. That seat turned into an at-large seat, and they restructured that entity there of the serving people that are on that board. So we did used to have that seat. That seat was given up because there wasn't public interest, at least at the time. It hasn't been until today, actually. So there's been some early talk of a couple of people out there maybe, and then there's really been no other chatter that I've heard of. If anybody else has heard of anything in particular,
Okay.
But yeah, that's a consideration, I guess, of the folks that are there, and if they really wanted to look at moving that forward, I think there's already a plan in place, that I've actually seen and that we have in the county for that sewer system. So, but then that takes some discussions with the city, obviously, how to make it all work. So.
Well, I had questioned the city about getting water out there, and they said they weren't giving out any more water without annexation.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the sewer was also.
Yeah, I believe it's one or the other, and I know that Papermakers has it there, and I don't know exactly how that happened without annexation at the time. I have a thought of that. I guess I just have to have that paper to verify my thought of why they have water and not sewer, why they have water and not annexation. Because they do pay an out-of-town rate there, I believe, in Papermakers at least, and then the water availability would be out on the highway, which would have to be, obviously, would have to be run in, to the different areas or whatever. So, but
It's a process.
it is a process, but it can happen. I mean, if there's, like I say, if there's folks that are there and they want to form and revive that type of a committee, that can certainly be discussed, and I'd actually be a member of that committee myself. So if there's a group of people that you want to get together with and meet at some point in time, just let one of us know or let Adam know, and we'll get it kind of fired up. So.
Okay, great.
Right.
Great. Probably see you tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Anyone online, public comment?
You want me to unmute them? They're all muted, so.
Oh, they are muted. I don't know who that one person is in the corner there.
Aaron Thomas.
Eric is, and then the one here on the bottom left.
So they can unmute themselves now if they want to.
Any public comment from folks online? All right, we'll close public comments. Is there any other county business? Nothing else you got for us? All right. With that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Commissioner Erickson.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Howell. All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And we are adjourned.